Sorry about the quick interruption, but we're back, and let's just dive straight back into the action with the game between Melkumian and Elizabeth Pedro. You were just explaining that even those kind of super GMs, he's almost 2700, can have quick blackouts.
Yeah, I mean, everyone can blunder. I mean, I was doing an article on this a while back, and Magnus Carlsen has even blundered a mate in one, in a blitz game. Karpov lost a game, I remember, when he was world champion in about 14 moves. Anand lost in 8 moves, so it's possible. And the player in the white pieces here is actually one of Aronian's seconds, or used to be. And in this position you see on the board, rather than playing something, I don't know, like bishop f7 check, or maybe just moving the rook to e3, white unbelievably played king h2. And I think this is a complete mind block. Bishop f3. And now, the check comes, king f8. The queen has to move, so queen h3. And now just bishop takes e2. And after rook takes e2...
It's a double blunder.
It's a double blunder, yeah, because it might not look the end of the world. Because, at this position here, you are rook down, but you've got some pawns. But now, there goes another one. Rook takes f7. So, unbelievable. And f4... Queen d6, and we can clearly see here that Elizabeth's completely winning now. Far too many pieces up in this position.
Let's have a look. There's been a few more moves. The e-pawn is now also gone, so let's just update that.
Okay, so queen d3, and of course too much material here. White might as well play on for a little bit because the black king has some weaknesses to it, but as soon as that e-pawn goes, in actual fact, I think resignations will probably be one of the best moves here.
Yeah.
So great result for Elizabeth, and I'm really happy because she's co-commentator in Gibraltar, and
she's going to be on 2.5 out of 3, which is excellent
score. So yeah, really happy for Elizabeth.
Okay, so let's go to board number 2. We had the 2 players from the top board, Fabiano Caruana and Niels Brandelius, here in the studio, but board 2 is still going on, so is board 3, and we'll go there right now.
And we had a little bet on this game, didn't we, Fiona?
We did, yeah.
And basically, I bet that Hikaru would win in the end, and you bet it would be a draw. And a lot of people, I think, in the chat were saying, it's just an easy draw because the opposite colour bishops. But let's just see how things went. And this plan that we noted before of pushing the f-pawn and the e-pawn can make things very difficult in this type of structure, especially with the better placed bishop. Technically, I expect it is a draw, but practically against someone like Hikaru, who's going to play on forever, you've got a lot of work to do. And here comes this plan, f4, and a little bit of dancing now, but hitting the f7 square, so this is a weakness, you have to defend that, and now you get this pawn structure I mentioned, where a good tip is, if you want to try to win opposite coloured bishop positions, which this is, the thing you should do is place all of your pawns on the opposite colour square to your own bishop. And this is what Hikaru's done here. He's placed his pawns on dark squares, he has a light square bishop, and that is a very good technique to try and win these types of positions, because then your opponent's pawns will naturally be trapped on the same square as your bishop, and you might be able to pick them off. Bishop b6, queen c6 has been played, and it looks like this is quite tough, actually, I think, for black, but he might hold this. Not fun to hold, though.
It's not going to be fun.
He might even get in a zigzag position here where he's going to run out of options, because if you lose the a-pawn, that's bad. If your queen moves away from f6, that's also bad. And Hikaru may even have f5 at the correct moment. Yeah. So I think this is very tough, but we'll wait and see. Wait and see how this one goes.
Wait and see. Let's move on to board number 3, where Hu Yifan is playing against Maxime Wertstein.
And here we go. So it looked like Maxime was getting the upper hand in this game after, I think, probably struggling earlier on. And we were around here last time we looked, so we got rook d4, and very calmly played by Maxime, just making the time control. And black seems to have stopped this pawn in its tracks here. It's not going anywhere. This knight is actually quite a good piece. It defends, it has chances to attack, and bishop on c6, not so great. Also the white king a little bit weak. So here comes the plan I mentioned, h5. And black's pawns are going to slowly come up the board Maybe not f5 because that weakens the black king, but it's going to be, I think it's a slightly better for Maxime. Not the end of the world for Ho Yifang, but unpleasant to defend.
And just to let you know, Melkumian did resign. We see Lizzie there just walking past on the camera a second ago.
Doing a little dance.
Congratulations to her.
Definitely. And let's go over to Mickey now. And Mickey, I think it's the 4th seed in this tournament. And you can see Peter Leco just behind Mickey there. We should actually, I don't know how.
See how Leco,
yeah, because he was tough. Yeah.
Going.
We should definitely see that. So we'll go to that a bit later on. But first of all, we'll just try to find Mickey. And Mickey has a very tough game again against Harika here. Harika, a really big fighter. And where are you, Mickey? There you are. And here we go again. It's that time of the day again. We can just sit back and watch the arbiters enjoy their little game. Wave to the camera, Matthew. Wave. So we had an ongoing joke yesterday, didn't we, Fiona? When the arbiters were basically just putting the pieces in and out. I don't know what they were doing. They just put them in the box, out the box, in the box, out the box. I think, just to try to sort of pretend they're doing some work, basically. But I think
I was just going to say those pieces were not very nicely adjusted, but there we go.
There we go. He's a professional adjuster.
He's a screwer. Look.
He's a screwer.
Did you see that?
Matthew is a screwer. I missed that. Did he screw it into the board? He didn't bang it.
The rook. Screwed to A8.
Okay. But he actually got away from the board pretty quick there. Yeah. Disappointing.
Shame.
Okay, well, Mickey, I thought this position should be a draw. I don't know, I guess it's the same as you, Fiona, but it's actually much harder for white to defend. And a lot of things have happened. First of all, Harika has now gone into an ending where the queens are exchanged. This is normally a good idea, but one issue she might have here is the black king is quicker, surely, because the white king will struggle to get in the game because there's a check, and this black king can really rush across the board. So g4, king f6. The other problem is this pawn over here cannot be attacked by Harika's bishop, but the pawn here can be attacked by Mickey's knight. And we spoke about these endings before with pawns all on the same area of the board, and that's really what's going on. The knight is often better.
By the way, Simon, and I can't believe our producers failed to point this out to us, but Wang Hao did lose another game. He lost to Lucas van Voorhees.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. And he's Dutch as well. What's going on, guys?
Yeah.
So, yeah, well,
the Dutchies.
that might be a mistake. We'll have a look, but let's...
Unless there's that would be another massive upset.
Probably one of the biggest ones yet, because that's a 400 rating point difference.
And after this move, rook f2 as well, which was really...
It was actually very interesting, I thought, because he was fighting back.
So let's go there after Adams.
Sure. So very quickly gets the current position. And, well, I mean, this kind of move is just a typical Mickey move, like, great little probing move. And look at the king now come. And Mickey's king is very quick here, g5. Also, that is not the move you want to play. Why? Because you're fixing your pawns on the same kind of square as your bishop. You can't attack any of your opponent's pawns. I'm not sure I like g5, but king c4, king g4. I think what Harika's relying on is the f5 move, trying to swap off pawns to get to a drawn ending. King b3, and now there's a very simple plan. I'm going to take that pawn and queen my pawn. Why not? f5, Harika's main idea. And, well, that's a brave move to play. You're not going to have many pawns left here, but maybe you have to try this move. Mickey pushing for the win.
What's the point if I just take?
What do you take with, though?
I was thinking of the knight.
Well, I think the point, if you take with the knight, now the white king has a route round. I mean, I am, as you know, like the endgame master. And this king is now sneaking its way in to actually hit here. You could lose this, actually, in a not ideal world. Probably you won't, but with black here. And if you take with the pawn here, I assume it's similar idea. Oh no, it doesn't go there. Or no, it probably doesn't go there because the knight e6 check is rather embarrassing. But where does the king go? Pawn takes is much more natural. Does it go here?
Let's have a look at that.
Yeah, that wasn't entirely clear, was it? So what do I do here?
Just for my curiosity.
Check here. I think it's winning because after this move, king here, I had this move. Yeah.
Okay.
And well, that's that. Yeah. Pawn takes looks like a good option. I suppose again, it's calculation here. Mickey, after the move f5, will be calculating both pawn takes and as far as he can, you should be able to calculate most of the way to the end here, some of Mickey's strength. And the other move he's going to be calculating is, for example, knight to b5, where he's trying to work out, can I take this pawn and queen my a pawn in time? So it's really pure calculation. Might be a draw. I kind of feel it should be a draw, but it's some
Should we
chances.
I'll bet pound on Mickey.
Okay, let's do it.
Okay.
There goes a pound. Going on Mickey, so good stuff. Okay, and where will we be going now?
Well, let's go to see the end of Wang Hao's game.
Definitely. So we're going to go over to that one now, the end of Wang Hao's game.
He's on 1 out of 3.
Oh, yeah, I mean, that's unbelievable,
shocking.
isn't it? 1 out of 3 is just really not great. And if this was the case, I mean, let's just make sure sometimes you get an error with the way the results are put in. And we looked around here where black had sacrificed a whole rook to gain some kind of attack. And we kind of dismissed this as just good for white, but without real reason. Knight to h5.
Well, we did have a good reason. He was just a rook down.
He's a rook down, yeah. But yeah, that's normally quite a good reason, isn't it, actually? But okay, let's just see. Bishop e1, so stopping this check. Queen a6, can't exchange queens. King f2, rook d8. This guy's a tricky little trickster, isn't he? Getting another couple of tricks going. Knight to f5.
That does look like a strange.
It does, yeah. Really strange. What
but
was
okay,
that?
maybe he didn't have a choice. I mean, the knight is attacked.
This could have been.
I know the knight was on h4, sorry.
This could be an inspired, win. So knight f5, bishop c5 check, and now if you have to give a piece away here, so bishop takes d4 check, king f1, and actually here just white resigned. He just thought, I've had enough of this. I'm going to the pizza place, and I can see why. Unbelievable, because just something like knight f4 here, you're going to be at least 2 pawns up in the ending, but with rook e8 as well, it's probably going to be 2 pawns and a piece up.
Yeah.
So that's quite shocking, that one, isn't it?
That is actually quite shocking. But kudos to Lucas, a very impressive game.
Yeah.
And it's going to be interesting to see if his brother can hold. And Wang Hao has lost 19 points already in just 3 rounds, so dropped below 2,700.
I bet he's feeling sick at the moment.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So let's go to Lucas' brother.
Okay.
For a second, who's hanging on for dear life against Hikaru Nakamura. And
has much changed there, because I don't know if it's going to be a long game, this one. I mean, it could go on for a serious amount of time, and it's exactly the same position pretty much, so there's not really much to report from this one. Queen c6 played, and they're going to dance around a little bit here, and white is eventually going to try to find a way into the position, but no change there. So we'll move on to maybe the end of Shirov's game. Let's go over there and have a look how he finished off his opponent. He's on 2.5 now, is he, Shirov?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, 2.5. So.
Oh, is he on 3? Well,
it might be on 3 actually.
He beat Lawrence yesterday.
Oh, he did. He's on 3 points, and this
so
is.
He's on 3 out of 3.
And well, I mean, Shirov, one of the best attacking players in the world, and how did he finish off the second strongest Italian player? Let's have a look. In this position here, Shirov with white has better placed pieces. His rook is on an open file, and his knight has some tricky little squares it can move to. So knight c6 comes in, attacking the queen. Queen h4, and now g3. Where does this queen go? Well, it goes queen g4. Very symmetrical pawn structure, so good drawing chances. Queen c5, and white's pieces are coordinating much better. Rook e8. Maybe black should have made good chances to hold. I mean, there's a nasty little trick here. Let's say you play.
That back rank is looking very weak.
Definitely,
Yeah.
the back rank is, and I mean, if you played a move like, let's say, Queen f3, which on the surface is not ridiculous because the bishop wants to plonk itself in on e4, well, you lose straight away. Knight e7 check, and knight takes g6 check, and of course the rook here is gonna drop. So there's some little tactical problems here. If bishop e4, is there a similar trick? Knight e7 check. King here, knight to g6 check again on an empty square. So that is a similar trick there. Okay, so rook e8 played. Knight to e7 check was played, king h8, and you're right, back-to-back rankers, queen c6, tricky little move, hitting that rook, again, combination of queen and knight, rook f8, and now this lovely little move, typical tactics of Shirov, and that just ends the game straight away, queen c8, so there
Nice
we go.
game.
And we were looking at another potential upset, Peter Leco, who's a very strong player, hasn't played an Open for 20 years, he's over 2,700 now, and he's been one of the best players in the world for a long time. It looked earlier he was worse against a young player from Germany. And well, around this point we just saw this kind of position on the board, and it was clear that white should be better here with ideas of c5 and f5. He has two breaks. It's not clear how Peter Leco is going to deal with both of them. Did the position get better? Well, rook g8, rook g2, and you can see that Leco is struggling to find a plan here, and white improving his position. He goes back, bishop d1, the bishop tries to find a better square. The bishop comes to b3. I like that plan because now c5 is coming and you're defending this pawn. So Leco goes for some change of structure by maneuvering this knight around. Okay, that's a good maneuver by Leco because this knight is finding a much better square. It's useless on f6. So nice maneuvering by Leco. Lego.
You've literally just said Leco like 20 times in the last 2 minutes.
Leco, yeah. I mean, it's been a long day.
I'm not going to react, but then you just... It
It's a
sounds
long
like
day.
you're provoking. Seemed like you're provoking me.
No, I just been a long day at the moment. So knight f5, queen c3, rook c8, and now rook c2, rook c7, and let's just get to the current position. This is the current position. So, well, I mean, it looks like white's actually probably still doing well, but
well enough or not?
made some progress on the queen side. I mean, look, you've got the pawn here, but black has, I don't know if is it enough to win. He's better, but I don't know if it's enough to win. Might not be enough to win, potentially. So I don't know.
Meanwhile, we see Hikaru grinding away